Welcome to the Business Payload Analyzer. Today I'm going to talk to you and show you how we track and trend business KPIs. Today's digital business understands that user experience is a priority. 99% of all companies expect to get benefits from improving their end user experience. But getting the right metrics can be very challenging. 53% state that their tools today do not provide the user metrics they require. Many struggle to track the user's flow within a business transaction, and many struggle to prioritize their problems based on the impact to the customer and the business because they don't understand the details of what that end user is physically doing when that incident occurs. The way that companies today are trying to collect this business KPI is by extracting it from the application data. In most cases, this requires developers to change the application code or for someone to have deep application knowledge to extract information from a database. This makes it very difficult to keep in sync as applications evolve or the requirements for business KPIs change. You also need to know what data is required before an application is deployed, as each change may require going through a full development cycle. The application monitoring team and application owner cannot easily change their requirements in real time as to what information they need from a business KPI. Many developers send the business KPI information to logs. This can impact application performance as it is writing entries into the file system for every individual transaction that a user performs. To solve these problems, Broadcom has introduced the Business Payload Analyzer capability to the AIOps solution. The Business Payload Analyzer looks at the communication between the client and the application. Data science is used to determine what information in the payload is interesting to keep, and it disregards the information which isn't interesting to keep information for long periods of time, and also allows it to extract business KPIs with a simple point-and-click interface where the application owner or application monitoring team can make changes in real time. This removes the need for developers to create custom tags or custom code to write information out to a log or to a third-party data collection system. Essentially, if it's on the screen or passed between the client and the application, as most business KPI information is, then it is fair game for BPA to collect it and report on it. Once the application owner or monitoring team has defined business KPIs to collect, the AIOps solution provides you various different ways to create dashboards, alerts, reports, and time comparisons of the KPIs. For example, I could compare the shopping cart value and the average price of an item over time between two different days. The AIOps solution also allows you to have business-driven service analytics. When you have a business KPI such as revenue, this can be tied directly to the business service which is providing that revenue. If there are tickets or alarms, they can be prioritized now by the impact to the business or even the user base. Now let's take a look at a demonstration of how Business Payload Analyzer is configured and how to use it. First, we're going to choose the DX Application Performance Management capability so that we can go out and configure the Business Payload Analyzer, or BPA as it is commonly called. On this left menu here, we simply choose Business Payload Analyzer under App Config. We can choose the available applications currently reporting data into BPA, JTick Change Web, and Root. Now before we jump in and take a look at the data that JTick Change Web is providing us, let's first take a look at the application so that we're familiar with it. JTick Change Web, or Tick Change as we commonly call it, is a typical e-commerce application for the web. We can go out and browse items, add them to our shopping cart, and make a purchase. What I'm doing here is I'm going out and I'm going to go take a look at some items. Now I'm going to go add an item to my shopping cart. Prices are listed here. Those prices are in the payload, which means BPA can extract them and use them for business KPIs. If I add an item to the cart, and then we add another item to the cart, let's do that. We now have two items which are available in the payload for BPA to create business KPIs. Possibly you want to have the average item price, or we want to take the subtotal and use that as a business KPI. I'll proceed to checkout. This will require me to sign into the application. Now don't worry, I'll show you how we can protect that password from being looked at or even examined by BPA. Let's continue with our checkout procedure. We can protect the credit card number from being captured. If you did desire to only capture the last 4 digits, we can do that as well. All of this information, city, state, zip code, is available for BPA to create KPIs on. Maybe you want to know how many users you have in the state of Colorado. Here we have a summary of our order. And all of this information, once again, is available for BPA. Now let's take a look at what BPA has done with the information it has collected. Here we see the rules for JTick Change Web. These rules, some of them have been generated by the system. However, as an administrator, I have the option to override or change these values. So let's talk about what I've done here. I've gone out and I've changed the application name to TickChange 1.3, a more human-readable name than JTick Change Web. The system by default, though I could change it, is told to match on all the URLs or all the pages in the application. We've enabled discovery every 30 minutes for 3,000 events. Discovery is used for the system to go out and understand the frequency and the values that are passed between the end user and the application. You can create sub-applications by creating new discovery rule sets. But I wanted to start here with privacy rules. Privacy rules are how we protect passwords, social security numbers, government IDs, credit card numbers from being captured or stored by our system. You have the option to take any field and you can define a pattern for the name of a field or the value. Now in many cases you want to define this by value because there's a pattern to the type of data, so that if someone, one of your developers, has used a non-standard name, they are still protected from being captured by our system. You have the option of hashing a value so that it is one-way hashed into a unique number that cannot be reversed. This allows you to determine if a field is consistent between user performing an activity. This will allow you to do things like how many unique credit card numbers have been sent through my system. You can mask the last number of characters. For example, you might want to keep the last 4 digits of a credit card. You can also create a custom mask format. Now, one of the things that BPA has done is it's captured all the available fields in our application. And it has determined that all these fields that you see here can be thrown away. Why? Because these fields are not significant to what the application is performing. Any field that is discovered by BPA, you can simply choose, or the system can determine based upon a scoring mechanism, to have that promoted to a captured value. If we wanted to keep this query item ID, we could go out and simply click Capture. And now every transaction, this value would be captured. So I can view and understand what the users are doing. Sometimes you don't know the name of a field that the system has captured. As you can see, some of these have some pretty technical names based upon what the developer has put in. This is one of the reasons why, if you were trying to do this without BPA, it would be fairly difficult. However, I can simply look up in the payload for the fields that are total fields. Let's take a look. So here we have different values, totals, and here's some examples of shopping cart values. We can go out and we can take those and we can convert them into a numeric value. And we can tell the system we would like to call that total 2. And we would like to track that as an average so we can get the average shopping cart value. Or we want to sum. We want to know the total amount of shopping carts in any one time period. So let's take a look here and see how this data appears in AIOps. We're going to look at it here from the application performance management perspective. Very simply, we can take a look at our metrics trended over time. We go to my application here. I'm going to just quickly search for some business KPIs. I've got two business KPIs here. Let's view them. And let's take a look at these over time. As you can see, at any one point, I can look at the average item price and the order revenue. I can set an alert that if order revenue drops, I get an email. We also can go out and look at this data in our operational intelligence dashboard. I can go out and take a look in my catalog of metrics. And start looking at the details about my application. All of the pages are available. Check out summary. Here's our business metrics. We can create custom dashboards very quickly. And let's also add in our number of transactions, responses per interval. Let's look at this over the past week. And here we've put together the ability to look at our data and see how we're doing. Thank you. You may also wish to view videos on service analytics, application performance management, infrastructure monitoring, and app experience analytics. Thank you for attending this video from Broadcom.